10 bizarre things that were 3D printed. 3D printing has come wildly far in the last decade. Modern 3D printers can now print literally anything, and even half of the person operating the printer. Wait, you might be confused. Let me get that. We are fast approaching a point where the only thing limiting the capabilities of 3D printers is the human imagination, and as you are certainly aware by now. From the good to the bad and the very ugly, this list gathers 10 of the most bizarre things ever 3D printed. So far, let's see what we have. Number 1 shocked me.
Ooh, coffee mug.
Wow.
Number 10, unborn babies. One use of 3D printing may be a surprise to you. There is a company in Russia that can 3D print unborn babies. Sounds like science fiction, right? But there is no fiction here, just science. Embryo 3D, a Russian company founded by scientist Ivan Gridin, has developed 3D printing technology that allows your unborn child to be reproduced. These 3D printings are created from prenatal images and are usually made from plastic and plaster. However, metal printings are also available for an additional cost. While this may seem somewhat odd, many expecting parents are excited about this idea because it allows them to hold their unborn child weeks before the birth. This can be hugely comforting to the expecting parents. While this may seem pretty unusual to some, it only makes number 10 on our list. Number 9, entire houses. We started small with 3D printed unborn children. An increasingly big market involves 3D printed houses. There are a wide variety of 3D printed buildings, including apartments, barns, houses, and even castles. They can make a 3D printed house in as little as 24 hours. 3D printed homes can also be significantly less expensive to build than a traditional house. There's a company named Winsun, specializing in 3D printing a wide variety of houses. Winsun and companies like it typically do not print these structures in one piece. Instead, the parts are printed and then assembled at the desired construction site. In addition to being very cool, the practice of 3D printing homes can have a substantial economic benefit for those struggling with poverty. Winsun already has plans to 3D print homes in an impoverished area of El Salvador. There is also currently a 3D printed neighborhood in Mexico where families live for about $3 a day, according to the New York Times. You can expect to see more and more 3D printed homes as the technology continues to improve at a rapid pace. Home buyers could even have an active hand in designing and customizing their 3D printed home. In a few years, a 3D printed house, neighborhood, or even skyscraper might not seem bizarre at all. Number 8, 3D printers prints 3D printers. What would you print if you could print anything on a 3D printer? How about another 3D printer? Believe it or not, you actually can, with some exceptions. Self-replication is possible only for plastic 3D printers, not ceramic, metal, or other varieties. As with most 3D printing, it's all about the details and the components. A 3D printer can have over 100 parts, so they have to all be printed to exact specifications. In order to print a 3D printer, you must print each piece individually and then assemble them correctly. However, a plastic 3D printer can only print plastic, so you'd need to find or print the other parts for your printer in another way. A company named RepRap created the first self-replicating 3D printer all the way back in 2008, although it was only 50% replicated parts at the time. Since that time, RepRap has increased the percentage significantly to 73%. The original RepRap machines even have children and grandchildren around the globe. It's not hard to imagine a fully self-replicating 3D printer in the future. Number 7, impossible sculptures. With every tech generation release, hardware becomes less expensive and more available. As 3D printing technology has continued to evolve, so have its uses. Just like the camera, computers, film, and other new technologies throughout history, 3D printers have opened doors for creativity and expression. 3D printers can be used to create all manner of sculptures, and artists are able to create figures smaller than the eye of a needle. There are currently many 3D printer artists exploring this new creative space, such as Kevin Mack, Tomoko Nagao, Bathsheba Grossman, and so many more. Tomoko Nagao is an inspiring example who reinterprets masterpieces from the Renaissance era. As with many new art forms, the products can be both beautiful and bizarre to behold. Number 6, spy cameras. Like something right out of Q's lab in a James Bond film, 3D printers have some undercover capabilities. They're able to print extremely small parts with incredible accuracy. This has many uses, including microprinting, very small printing cameras for drones. A 3D printed microcamera is able to see extremely far-off objects with great detail. Along with general drone technology, these cameras have advanced to the point where they have eagle-eye vision. They're able to see as well as an eagle. Not just useful for MI6, these tiny cameras and even tinier lenses printed from 3D printers serve many other functions. Think about what these babies could do for medical procedures, telescopic or microscopic technology, and even vision. Number 5. Pizza and food of all kinds. The next item on our list is especially out there. 3D printers can print food. Back in 2016, a London company created a pop-up restaurant called Food Inc. The restaurant was only open for about 3 days, but had a huge impact. Food Inc. printed hummus, cheese, chocolate, and even the furniture at their short-lived restaurant. These are just some of the many food items that can actually be printed. Another company, XYZ Printing, has had their 3D printers producing pizza, along with cookies, toast, cake, and more, all on a device priced around $2,000. According to people who've tried it, the food is delicious. It's mind-blowing. We wouldn't be surprised to see a Food Network reality show on 3D baking next Christmas. Number 4. Working human organs. In the medical field, 3D printing has made some really compelling developments. Scientists are currently able to print organs from medical scans. The organs are often used by doctors and nurses for training purposes. Once the organs are printed, they're manipulated to have the same consistency and color as a typical organ. This will be hugely beneficial for training in the medical industry going forward. And functional human organs could be 3D printed more often in the future. Transplants, though, are seen as considerably more difficult. Nearly 1/3 of patients die waiting for life-saving organs. At this point, the only successful 3D printed organ donation into a human is a bladder. For a 3D printed organ to work successfully, the organ should be formed from tissue from the patient's organ. Still, speed, customization, and efficiency could be 3 major advantages to using 3D printed organs down the line. Number 3. Robots. If you didn't already feel like we were in a Twilight Zone episode, you will now. 3D printing can create robots. As mentioned above, 3D printers are excellent for producing small and extremely complex parts. Robots are made up almost entirely of these kinds of components. This tech would allow you to customize your own robots down to each part. With 3D printers, designers can create their device from a library, finalize the geometry, and then print the components, including a circuit board. Robot skin technology has improved from 3D printing as well. This skin contains many sensors, allowing the robot to feel, at least in theory. Like human organs, this is certainly still in development, but has made great strides in the past decade in many ways thanks to the advancement of 3D printing technology. Number 2. Turtle parts. When a tortoise named Freddy was badly burned in a brush fire in Brazil, he lost 85% of his shell. Thanks to the amazing technology of 3D printing and the goodwill of a scientific design team, he had his shell restored, and it looks as good as new. Freddy's recreated shell was modeled after another tortoise. It was printed in 4 separate components and glued together. Freddy looked kind of silly with an all-white shell, so the team of designers and scientists painted it. If you saw him sitting next to another tortoise, you probably wouldn't be able to tell which was which. Now that is one jaw-dropping use of incredible tech. Tortoises aren't the only animals benefiting from this upgrade. There's also a toucan whose replacement bill is 3D printed, cats and dogs with wheelchairs, and a variety of other animal prosthetics. Number 1. Bionic Arms. While we're on the subject of prosthetics, 3D printers have been able to help more than just animals. 3D printers are able to create human prosthetics as well. One company that's been able to create a relatively affordable prosthetic arm is Open Bionics. Their 3D printed prosthetic, the Hero Arm, weighs less than 1/3 of a pound, and its components are all printed from a 3D printer. Hero Arms are fitted specifically for patients and can also be customized. Open Bionics website includes over 50 magnetic covers, including Disney, Iron Man, and more. The company also boasts comfort, control, and long battery life. These prosthetics are impressive, lightweight, and comparatively inexpensive. As 3D printing improves, this industry will surely continue to improve as well. This is an exciting use of new technology to provide a needed service to these individuals. Advancing steadily over the last decade, 3D printing will continue to have applications in technology, medical, entertainment, security, and arts. As 3D printers get better and more efficient, I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more bizarre creations in development. I am sure you are going to love to watch our video about the the futuristic technology that science brought to reality on our channel. Make sure to subscribe to us and never miss our amazing videos like this. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Till then, stay tuned.